Here come the boom. Look who just stepped in the room. Got soldiers in every direction. As long as they steppin' in tune. I be in all black with the groom. Watching Babylon fall to doom. Lord know I'm ready and I know that you know that her love is deadly, but I am immune. These niggas talking rude to whom? That's a spot, you be moving soon, and you be leaving shortly. Still walking with them angels, yeah, they still enforce me. Got a whole lot of zeal, I can't get it off me. Plus I'm winning like I got a blue ribbon on me. He ain't one what, bitch, I'm begging pardon. See, I knew these niggas like to do that pillow talking, so that's why I bought a Glock to the slumber party. Got it out the dust. I just began to it pretty much. That brotherhood of weapon, gotta keep it in the clutch. If it ain't one West, nigga, hush. I don't want to hear it, keep the tone down. Had a couple complications, but it's on now. So you can kill it, speculation, bitch, I'm thrown down. And if you want a conversation, set his zone down. Nigga, what he say, I ain't hear him, I done zoned down. Can't walk, this a low mouth. I'm 44, I'm on another level with it. These niggas never listen, so I let the devil get his ass. I try to tell him, I'm a rebel nigga. Better be careful if you ever think I'm stepping in my path. Cause it ain't no game, stay in your lane. Now I'm playing twisted metal with his ass. Got it out the dump. I just began to it pretty much. That brotherhood of weapon, gotta keep it in the clutch. Revenge to my main bitch, I think I got a crush. And she know that I got some sick shit inside me. Bitch, you know it should be K versus everybody. Got the side, move the buttons like he Teddy Riley. Now I race through the track like a Ricky Bobby. Got it out the dust. I just began to it pretty much. That brotherhood of weapon, gotta keep it in the clutch. Gotta keep it with me, it's a must. Got it out the dust. I just began to it pretty much. That brotherhood of weapon, gotta keep it in the clutch. If it ain't one West, nigga, hot.
It's the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. It is Monday, you understand, history breakdown class, where we get into the hidden mysteries, you know what I'm saying, bringing out these historical records. This is part 2 of last week. Oppression makes a wise man mad, a gift destroys the heart. More specifically, focus in on, the part, a gift destroys the heart, especially like with everything that's going on in today. Just to recap, we're going to go ahead, we're going to start off with the scripture, Ecclesiastes 7:7. All right, just so you know where the entitlement comes from. When you got it, brother, go ahead and get it. Also, just as a reminder, Passover is April 24th. The B&H Ranch here in Houston, Texas. Make sure that you reach out to your camp leader for the information as far as where it's going, as far as like hotel accommodation, things of that nature. I believe Officer Yatazak. Captain Yatazak and Officer Malakwath, they posted the information as far as like for the hotel arrangements. So get with your camp leader as soon as possible to make sure that you arrange those things. You got the scripture out?
Come, sir.
All right, go ahead.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
Say that again.
Come. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. And a gift destroyeth the heart.
You understand? So when we went over it last week, right? So oppression makes a wise man mad, right? In the state of the social, economic, political realm that we're in right now, the oppression that we're in, brothers in the UPK are furious, in a constant state of anger. You understand? To see are people constantly being gunned down by in the streets. You understand? By law enforcement. Brothers being sent to jail by Karens and Christophers. You know what I'm saying? We're just infuriated, of the state of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and where we're coinciding today. So we don't forget the names of those that were gunned down and killed by the police. You know what I'm saying? We don't forget the tragic deaths and the mass genocides of the Native Americans. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't forget those things. Even though society moves on, Scripture says things that were written aforetime were for our learning and for our understanding. How much more the things that you see going in today's time should be for your learning and understanding as well. And you should never forget. I mean, they don't forget the Alamo. They don't forget Geronimo. They don't forget World War I. They don't forget Vietnam. You know what I'm saying? They don't forget 9/11. So why would you forget the transatlantic slave trade? Why would you forget the Trail of Tears? Why would you forget the reason why Thanksgiving was started by the mass murder of 700 Native Americans during Passover, which is the Green Corner Festival? You know what I'm saying? Why would you forget? You understand? So we oppression makes a wise man mad, and a gift destroys the heart. You know what I'm saying? A reservation was a gift to the Native Americans. It destroyed their heart for them to remember what they did during the Trail of Tears. You understand? Like being delivered, you know what I'm saying? Slavery being abolished was a gift that destroyed our heart. You know what I'm saying? Because we most black people talk like our oppressor. Man, that was so long ago. We not slaves no more. I mean, like the younger generation, they be like, white people are cool. I'm cool with white people. You know what I'm saying? Oppression makes a wise man mad, and the gift destroys the heart. You understand? Like our Hispanic brethren are in cages at the border, man. You know what I'm saying? Like our warriors are caged up, you understand, in the penitentiary system. You understand? So like oppression makes a wise man mad, and the gift destroys the heart. All right. So we gonna recap from where we were last week. Instead of just jumping straight in to where we were. All right. So you still got those images and stuff that I sent you, right? All right, no sweat. So I want you to. It's one of the first ones I sent you. It's the one that starts off with radical reconstruction. So just have that on hold. But before that, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna start off with this scripture right here. Give me Ezra chapter 4. Let's see. Where I want to start at. Give me Ezra chapter 4. No, Ezra chapter 3. No, Ezra chapter 4, verse 2. Start at verse 1. That's fine. Ezra chapter 4, verse 1.
This is the book of Ezra, chapter 4, verse 1. Now, when the adversaries of Judah and when the adversaries.
But what?
Adversaries.
You understand? What is an adversary? Go ahead, sis. That is correct. Give sis a hand. All right. You know what I'm saying? Your adversary is an enemy. So it said when the adversary, read.
Of Judah and Benjamin heard that the children of the captivity builded the temple unto the Lord God of Israel.
You understand? So when our enemy, all right, so I give you an example, right? So you be foolish to think everything that's going on that's happening down at the Capitol right now has to do with votes. You understand? In the country bumpkin white man's mind on a base level, they think Kamala Harris is a black woman. You know what I'm saying? And she's going to be vice president. She's one step away from being a ruler of the free world, right? But here in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, we know the truth. You know what I'm saying? She's a heathen just like Barack Hussein Obama was a heathen. You know what I'm saying? So when we come together, right, and start building, right, the one thing that the COVID did for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, it made us band together as a people, right? Because wasn't nobody messing with nobody, right? So it's been a outgoing of supporting black business that has never been before. It's like support black business became a hashtag like it needed to be a hashtag. I mean, you don't see Asians is a hashtag support Asian business or support African business. Go ahead, sis.
Talking about support black businesses, then they go and say that's racist and start posting those hashtags you talking about support Asian businesses and
Right.
stuff like that on Twitter anyway.
Right, you understand? Like it's just like, the term Black Lives Matter. You know what I'm saying? It's not saying that other lives don't matter, but people be saying all lives matter, but how can all lives matter if black lives don't matter? Right? You know what I'm saying? That's not to be confused with the BLM movement, you know what I'm saying, that's ran by lesbians. You know what I'm saying? You feel lesbians, you know what I'm saying? Amazing! You know what I'm saying? Salaki. All right, so what you have to understand is anytime that we start to build, they become in fear, right? Because we're not going to them, right, to get the things that we need, right? This is a old tool, right? So we're gonna read this story, and then we're gonna bring out in the records how they have done this since the beginning of time, and like Solomon said, nothing is new under the sun. All right, go ahead, brother.
Khan, sir. Verse 2. Then they came to Zerubbabel and to the chief of the fathers and said unto them.
Now, what don't we have today anymore? Based off of what you just read, what don't we have anymore? Go ahead.
Leaders. Chiefs.
I mean, we got leaders in the black community, don't we?
Well, we have the real leader of us today, Commander Junior Hunter, but as far as the people out there that don't know, they following these wolves in sheep clothing.
So what's the difference between that type of leader and this type of leader?
Righteousness.
Okay,
Righteous
I mean,
leaders?
I'll take that, right? So, like, using the terms that they have, right? It says, then they came to Zerubbabel and the chief of the fathers, right? The chief of the fathers are the elders of the community.
Right.
Right? Ain't no more pawpaw in them. You know what I'm saying? Strong old men with a backbone of iron. You know what I'm saying? That was no nonsensical, didn't take no job, no lip off of nobody. You know what I'm saying? And no sass from no man. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't exist anymore, except for in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Right. You understand where the true definition of masculinity and manhood resides. All right? Keep reading.
Khan, sir. And said unto them, let us build with you, for we seek your power, as ye do.
You understand? Like that's what they do. You understand? Like they come under the guise of friendship. Like, man, we're brothers.
Right.
So it's one race. It's the human race. We serve the same God. You know what I'm saying? We love your God just like you love your God. Let us be a part of your religion. You understand? That's how Christianity was started. You understand? Keep reading.
Khan, sir. And we do sacrifice unto him since the days of Esau, Hadon, king of Assur, which brought us up hither. But, Salaki, verse 3. But Zerubbabel and Jeshua and the rest of the chief of the fathers of Israel said unto them, ye have nothing to do with us.
Say it again.
Ye have nothing to do with us.
Say it again.
Ye have nothing to do with us.
The white man, the Asian, the African, the East Indian have nothing to do with blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And that's one thing that y'all need to get through y'all head, man. You understand? Like, y'all want to go along to get along and stuff like that. This is not the time for that. This is the time to
Right.
You understand? And the only side is where your people reside. You understand? So get your head straight, get your mind clear. You understand? Like the only way in the Israelite school universe practical knowledge is to free your mind so your tail will follow. You understand?
Right.
As a man thinketh, so he is. You understand? So if you think less of your brother, what do you think that the enemy would think less of? You understand what I'm saying? Keep reading, brother.
Come, sir. Ye have nothing to do with us to build an house unto our power, but we ourselves together will build unto the Lord God of Israel.
All blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans need is blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans.
Right.
We've never needed anyone else. During Reconstruction and during poverty of the Depression, you understand, the black, Hispanic, and Native American community thrived. You understand? Seneca Village thrived. You understand? Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma thrived. You understand? Everything that we did thrived when we stuck together. You understand? When we didn't covet or was jealous of our oppressor. You understand? We envied none of their ways and chose none of their ways. At that point in time, when you looked at the statistics for family households, you understand, the black, Hispanic, and Native American community was leading as far as households that were one and coincide together with both men and women in the home.
Damn.
You understand? Keep reading.
Come, sir. As King Cyrus, the king of Persia, hath commanded us. Verse 4. Then the people of the land weakened the hands of the people of Judah.
They did what?
The people of the land weakened the hands of the people of Judah.
Now I want you to pay very close attention to this, right? What they did then, right? So now watch this. Now go back a verse. Go back a verse.
Come.
All right.
This is verse 3. You want me to start at the beginning?
Yes.
Come. But Zerubbabel and Jeshua and the rest of the chief of the fathers of Israel said unto them, Ye have nothing to do with us to build an house unto our power, but we ourselves together will build unto the Lord God of Israel, as King Cyrus, the king of Persia.
The what?
King Cyrus, the king of Persia.
Now watch this, right? So last class we went over the abolishment of slavery, the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment, what that meant, right?
Right.
So the 13th Amendment was the abolishment of slavery and that no man was able to be held as property without prosecution. The 14th and the 15th Amendment allows you, if you were a resident of any landmass within the United States, that you were a citizen.
Right.
Right? You were allowed the right to vote, and any type of equal right that belonged to any citizen belonged to everyone.
Right.
Right? So this was an edict that was pushed by the president, the king, just like King Cyrus allowed the Israelites to go and build their temple.
Right. Damn.
Right? So the abolishment of slavery was allowing us to go and build amongst ourselves, i.e. Seneca Village, which I brought out last class, you understand, which was one of the treaties that was broken by the white man, and it was turned into Central Park. You understand? Black Wall Street, you understand, which was built up, which was the only place in America that was bombed, you understand, by air, you understand, still to this day. You understand? Philadelphia, with John Africa and the Move movement, you understand, they dropped bombs from helicopters and wiped out an entire black community. You understand? So the abolishment of slavery, just like back then, they allowed us to build amongst ourselves. So when they allow us to build amongst ourselves, and we don't want to build with them, they enact rules to weaken our hands, right? There is no new thing that is under the sun. Read.
Come, sir. Verse 4. Then the people of the land weakened the hands of the people of Judah, and troubled them in building.
And did what?
Troubled them in building. Verse 5. And hired counselors against them to frustrate their purpose.
Right. So they hired electoral voted officials. You understand? To try and trouble the people, to enact laws, bylaws. You understand? Edicts, statutes, amendments. You understand? To stop these people from rising to build their own temple. You understand? Creating their own land. Because they knew that these people banding together began to serve their God, that no nation would be able to defeat them or rise up against them. So they wanted to keep them in a constant state of confusion. You understand? Can you read it?
Come, sir. To frustrate their purpose. All the days of Cyrus, king of Persia, even until the reign of Darius, king of Persia.
All right, we're going to stop right there. All right, so go what I told you to pull up, the radical reconstruction. I'm going to pull it up on the screen so they can read along with you.
Hold on, I gotta get to it. Radical reconstruction, where we at?
Should be one of the first ones or one of the last. I don't know what order it's sent it to you in. Right. It might be the last one. It's either gonna be like the second to last or the second from the first. It should start off after
Northern voters.
Yeah, go ahead.
Come, sir. This is from history.com. Radical reconstruction. After Northern voters rejected Johnson's policies in the congressional elections in late 1866,
So Johnson, you know what I'm saying, abolished, you know what I'm saying, well, after abolishment of slavery, you know what I'm saying, under Lincoln, he was assassinated, then Johnson took over, right, and he established the 13th Amendment, you understand, so now we free, you know what I'm saying, just like how King Cyrus gave the edict, you know, allow us to build our temple, for us to come together, right, you understand, so we able to build on our own now, keep reading.
come, sir. Radical Republicans in Congress took firm hold of Reconstruction in the South. The following March, again over Johnson's veto, Congress passed the Reconstruction Act of 1867.
Because the Congress is majority Negro. You understand? The Republican Party was a Negro party. You understand? They had a lot of black people that were a part of the Republican Party at that point in time. Because we were allowed to vote. We were considered equal. You understand? Go ahead.
Come, which temporarily divided the South into 5 military districts and outlined how governments based on universal male suffrage were to be organized. The law also required Southern states to ratify the 14th Amendment, which broadened the definition of citizenship, granting equal protection of the Constitution to former slaves before they could rejoin the Union. In February 1869, Congress approved the 15th Amendment, adopted in 1870, which guaranteed that a citizen's right to vote would not be denied on account of race, color, or previous condition of servitude.
You understand? So people always say that we didn't get the right to vote until the Civil Rights Act. You understand? The Civil Rights Act, you know what I'm saying, with Martin Luther King and all of them or whatever, we've been able to have the right to vote since we were freed from slavery. You understand? So that's a fallacy. So when you hear our parents say that people died for us to have the right to vote, that's a lie. Since we were freed, since Lincoln abolished slavery, we had the right to vote. You understand? Keep reading.
Come. This is the next slide, sir.
All right. Let me pull it up.
This is This is a Reconstruction comes to an end.
Hold on, let me pull it up for them so they can read along with you. Boom. One second, y'all. Let me pull it up on the screen. All right. Go ahead.
Con one con, sir. Reconstruction comes to an end.
All right.
After 1867, an increasing number of Southern whites turned to violence.
Say that again.
Con. After 1867, an increasing number of Southern whites turned to violence in response to the revolutionary changes of radical Reconstruction. The Ku Klux Klan and other white supremacist organizations targeted local Republican leaders, white and black, and other African Americans who challenged white authority.
You understand? So, this is them forming things to make your hands weak. Because understand this, right? When slavery was abolished, right? And now every man got to fend for himself, but he don't got a free labor workforce. The hired hands, the hands that did all the work, the skilled hands, were black, Hispanics, and Native American hands. The white man's hands was weak. So they had to form unions and all of this stuff to stop black people from getting jobs. They had to form the Ku Klux Klan to strike the same fear that was in slavery, you understand, when they were free, to stop you from doing things so that you wouldn't become a powerful people. You understand? So they made your hands weak. You understand? And also to stop you from passing bills and legislation that would make the playing field equal. Because you know anything about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, on any field we dominate. You understand? Keep reading.
Though during the administration of President Ulysses S. Grant in 1871 took aim at the Klan and others who attempted to interfere with black suffrage and other.
You understand? So remember, like I just said, going back to Ezra chapter 4. You understand? Ezra chapter 4 verse 4. Then the people of the land weakened the hands of the people of Judah and troubled them in building. Right? So the Ku Klux Klan, you understand, was to stop the black race, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans from building. Right? And they hired counselors against them to frustrate their purpose, even though the president gave them the right. Congress gave them the right. You understand? To have equal rights. It's like, damn that. You understand? In the local legislation, they made it hard for them. Nothing new. There's nothing new under the sun. You understand? Keep reading.
Con. White supremacy gradually reasserted its hold on the South after the early 1870s, as support for Reconstruction waned. Racism was still a potent force in both South and North, and Republicans became more conservative and less egalitarian as the decade continued.
You understand? Let's see where you stopped at. All right, no sweat. Let me pull up the next part. Hold on, let me send that to you. I don't think I text that one to you. Hold on. That continues on that part. Hold on, I'm about to send it to you right now. All right, it just came through. Let me pull it up on the screen for him. Let's see. All right, go ahead. Huh? All right, you should have it now. Just pick up where you left off.
Right. Okay, come, sir. In 1874, after an economic depression plunged much of the South into poverty, the Democratic Party won control of the House of Representatives for the first time since the Civil War.
Now understand, right? We blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we were Republican initially, right? And the Democratic Party, we're going to find out who they are. All right. Now I want you to go to the. Slide. Yeah, hold on, pull it up on the screen for me. Yeah, with the Klan member at the top. Where it starts off when Democrats waged the campaign. Yeah, go ahead.
When Democrats waged a campaign of violence
they did what?
Waged a campaign of violence.
Now, don't this sound like the Ku Klux Klan? That's how it started off. It said the Ku Klux Klan waged a campaign of violence and white supremacy over the newly freed blacks to stop them from building. So now the Ku Klux Klan, they done formed a party, the Democratic Party.
Damn.
You understand? I was about to put a whole lot of stuff in perspective of why things have happened through the Democratic Party, but you think the Democratic Party on your side, but they still the same Klansmen that they've been since they started. You understand? Keep reading.
Come. When Democrats waged a campaign of violence to take control of Mississippi in 1875, Grant refused to send federal troops, marking the end of federal support for Reconstruction-era state governments in the South.
You understand? So now they was like, man, maybe this Reconstruction that we decided to do for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, maybe it's not a good idea because it's causing some issues political. Now the Ku Klux Klan, they got their own political party. So to stop them from doing what they doing, we just gonna stop sending supplies for the black people to build, weakening the hands of Judah and Benjamin, just like in the time of Zerubbabel, right? There's nothing new under the sun. Keep reading.
Come, sir. By 1876, only Florida, Louisiana, and South Carolina were still in Republican hands. In the contested presidential election that year, Republican candidate Rutherford B. Hayes reached a compromise with Democrats in Congress. In exchange for certification of his election, he acknowledged Democratic control of the entire South.
He did what?
He acknowledged Democratic control of the entire South.
Now, riddle me this. Before the civil rights, quote-unquote, era, right? The South was controlled by racism and bigotry, right? But here in, what year is this? 1876, right? It was in control of the Democratic Party. So, what does that let you know about the Democratic Party? You understand? That they are the Ku Klux Klan.
Right.
And have always embodied it. You understand? Keep reading.
Come, sir.
Oh, we on the next slide, huh?
Right.
Oh, let me pull it up for him.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Come, sir. The Compromise of 1876 marked the end of Reconstruction as a distinct period. But the struggle to deal with the revolution ushered in by slavery's eradication would continue in the South and elsewhere.
Hold on, read that part. Start again at the Compromise of 1876.
Con one con, sir. The Compromise of 1876 marked the end of Reconstruction as a distinct period. But the struggle to deal with the revolution ushered in by slavery's eradication would continue in the South and elsewhere long after that date.
Ezra chapter 4, verse 4. Then the people of the land weakened the hands of Judah and troubled them in building and hired counselors against them to frustrate their purpose all the days of King Cyrus of Persia. You understand? There is nothing new under the sun. Keep reading.
Con, sir. A century later, the legacy of Reconstruction would be revived during the Civil Rights Movement of the 1960s.
You understand? All the Civil Rights Movement in the 1960s was to force the South because, man, I'm giving it away. We're going to get to it. I'm overstepping, right? Yeah, all right, keep reading. Keep reading.
Con, sir. As African Americans fought for the political, economic, and social equality that had long been denied them.
You understand? Denied means that you had something, they're not allowing you to use it.
Right.
All right. Okay, so that was that.
The next part.
All right, so So passage of the Black Codes.
Okay.
That should be the next one, right?
Con, sir.
All right, go ahead. I don't know why I didn't pull up. Hold on 1 second.
Con.
Oh yeah, did he? Or is that the one we was on?
Sir. Passage of the Black Codes is a different slide.
All right, no sweat. All right, go ahead.
Con, sir. Passage of the Black Codes. Even as former slaves fought to assert their independence and gain economic autonomy during the earliest years of Reconstruction, white landowners acted to control the labor force through a system similar to the one that had existed during slavery.
Ooh. Now, I want y'all to pay very close attention to this system that they erected, you understand, during the time of slavery. It's going to sound very familiar to you. Very familiar to you. And it was started by the Democratic Party. Go ahead. Keep reading.
Con out of one con.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hold on, sir. My phone locked.
To that end.
Right. To that end, in late 1865, Mississippi and South Carolina enacted the first black codes. Mississippi's law required blacks to have written evidence of employment.
Had to have what?
Written evidence of employment for the coming year each January. If they left before the end of the contract, they would be forced to forfeit earlier wages and were subject to arrest.
To what?
They were subject to arrest.
Do you know what this is? You can't say nothing using class last week, but sis, what is this? So the rule is, if you don't have a job, you go to jail. What is that in today's society? You in the ballpark. You in the ballpark. You in the ballpark. I'll give you a hint. Piss test.
Oh, right. If you don't got a job, you'll be a drug addict, then you go to jail. No.
It start with a P.
P. I don't know.
What black people can't get off of?
Drugs.
Think
That,
if you in the white man's system, man, if I say it, you gonna get it.
of course. If you said white, what black
Early
people
release program.
early release program,
It start with a
prison
Yeah. How you get out of prison?
by
Being on what?
good behavior.
Okay.
Man,
Being on good behavior.
y'all
you go
tripping, man.
you
I'm
go
on.
before what type of board to get out? Starts with a P.
The board you go before?
Yeah.
I don't know that.
Go ahead,
Let me give a hint, sir.
Parole.
There we go.
You understand? When black people got freed from slavery, you understand? They was on parole. You understand? You was on probation. You understand? A rule of probation is you have to have written employment.
Right.
You understand? These are black codes. They ain't gone nowhere. You understand? This was an edict that was passed throughout the entire South, from West Virginia all the way to Texas.
Damn.
If you didn't have papers in January saying that you had a job, you went to jail. If you quit your job before you filled the contract, that contract that you signed today, because you don't read that contract when you get that job, right? When they give you them W-2s, there's also a contract that you sign for employment. It's about 5 or 6, 7, maybe 10 pages. They just say, put your initial here, sign here. You know what I'm saying? You do the same thing your ancestors did. You just put your mark on the page and just keep it moving because you're ready to get paid. You understand? But what they didn't tell you is, if you quit that job before the contract is up, you forfeit your wages for the entire year. So guess what this means? All that money they paid you, you got to pay it back. And if you can't afford to pay that money back, guess where you go? To jail. The white man's the devil that the Bible speaks of. You understand? Keep reading.
Sir.
And this is also sharecropping as well. You understand? We're going to get into that. Keep reading. Sharecropping was just was slavery in another form. Keep reading.
In South Carolina, a law prohibited blacks from holding any occupation, farmer or servant, unless they paid an annual tax of $10 to $100.
You understand? So not only if you didn't have a job, you went to jail. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans were relegated to the serving class. You could only aspire to be a maid. You could only aspire to be a bus boy. You could. That's why the term is called bus boy. You understand? Because that's what they call niggas, spicks, and savages. Boy, hey, come here, boy. Fetch this for me, boy. You understand? You could only be a waiter. You understand? You could only be a garbage man. You know what I'm saying? You could only work in sanitation. You could only be a plumber. You understand? And you couldn't be a master plumber. You had to work under a master plumber. You understand? You can only be you couldn't be a master mechanic. That's why they got these terms. You got master plumber, master mechanic. You understand? Because the ones that were under the master mechanics were the servants. You understand? That's why in the house you have a master bedroom.
Damn.
You understand? Because it comes from slavery. Now they're trying to change the terms and stuff like that on floor plans and stuff like that. Call it the great room or the great bedroom and stuff like that. All right? Keep reading.
Sir. Hold on.
Go ahead.
This provision hit free blacks already living in Charleston and former slave artisans especially hard.
You understand? Hold on, let me pull up the next slide for them so they can read along with you. All right, go ahead.
Come, sir. In both states, blacks were given heavy penalties for vagrancy, including
What does vagrancy mean? Just look that up. Vagrancy. VAGRANCY. What does vagrancy mean? They received heavy penalties for vagrancy. If you online, if you know definition of vagrancy, you can type it in too. Say it on the mic. Go ahead.
It says homelessness.
All right. So they were giving heavy penalty for being homeless.
Damn.
Right? But they were relegated to an annual tax of 10 to a I'm sorry, they were relegated to pay taxes for $10 to $100 on their service wages. You understand? That's why waiters only make $2.97. They work for tips, right? Because that is a old black code law, right? Because that servile work was meant for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans.
Right.
You understand? So they only made $2.97 an hour to assure that they would never get out of the rut that they were in. You understand? Like the white man is the devil the Bible speaks of.
Right.
You understand? And we gonna uncover all of his wickedness. You understand? All right, let me pull up the next slide. All right, go ahead. The one that starts with some states.
Come, sir. Some states limited the type of property that blacks could own.
All right, so going back to Ezra chapter 4, verse 4. Then the people of the land weakened the hands of the people of Judah and troubled them in building. All right, so some states limited the type of properties that blacks could own.
Damn.
You understand? So, you know, instead of you know, like a lot of people in the South, like they were relegated to live in shacks, in shanties.
Right.
You understand? Like my great grandmother and her brothers, they lived. It was 8 of them. They lived in a shack on top of each other. You understand? Because they was relegated to only live in those type of homes. And then on top of that, they were servants, so they didn't make that much money, so they couldn't get out of the rut. And they had to take a loan out to get that. And you can imagine the interest rates on a shack. You understand? Keep reading.
Con, sir. While virtually all the former Confederate states passed strict vagrancy and labor contract laws, as well as so-called anti-enticement measures designed to punish anyone who offered higher wages to a black laborer already under contract.
So they would punish anyone. So it's the same thing. Think of it like oil and gas, right?
Right.
All right. There is a punishment, so you can only sell gas at a certain price point. It can be a little bit high, it can be a little bit low, but you can't sell it below a certain price point because you will disrupt the social economical pool of the gas flow.
Right.
You understand? And so you'll be fined for that, right? So if you were caught either trying to pass legislation, right, or trying to allow, so like let's just say Ricky over here was paying blacks $2.17 to wait tables, and you decide you want to pay him $5 an hour, they will fine your establishment. You understand? A penalty from the Labor and Workforce Commission to basically shut your business down. You understand? You keep getting hit with enough fines, you just gonna go along, or they gonna shut your business down. You understand? This is how wicked the white man is. You understand? Again, in Ezra chapter 4, verse 5, and hired counsels against them to frustrate their purpose all the days of Cyrus, the king of Persia. It's the same thing. They running the same play. They've been running the same play since antiquity, man.
Damn.
Nothing is new under the sun. Keep reading.
Con, sir. Blacks who broke labor contracts were subject to arrest, beating, and forced labor.
You understand? If forced labor was you would go to prison and you'd be a slave again. You understand? And you think it's hard for you to get a job now. You couldn't even get a job when you got out of prison to be a maid, to be a waiter, to be a bus driver. You know what I'm saying? To clean up dog feces. Because all of the servile work jobs were for regular working class people. You understand? So what you would see today, that ex-cons jobs that they're able to get now, like working at Walmart, you understand, working at Chili's, you know what I'm saying, wherever, you feel me? They couldn't even get those jobs because you had to be perfect to get those jobs. You understand? You had to be like in the movie The Help, or like in the movie The Buck. To have a job as a serving class, you were considered an upper crust Negro. You know what I'm saying? If you were a waiter at a country club, oh, you was the bee's knees. You know what I'm saying? You was balling. You know what I'm saying? You were a bartender at the country club, you was balling. You know what I'm saying? You had to be perfect to get those positions. So if you went to prison, you became vagrant. You understand? So you would constantly go back to prison. You would constantly be a slave. That's how it's been designed, to get you back into slavery. You understand? Keep reading.
Con. And apprenticeship laws forced many minors, either orphans or those whose parents were deemed unable to support them by a judge, into unpaid labor for white partners, passed by a political system in which blacks effectively had no voice.
Had what?
Had no voice.
Because remember, they forced all of the blacks, Ku Klux Klan forced all the blacks out of the Republican Party in the South, right? Then they formed the Democratic Party, you understand? And the Democratic Party, in order for this one politician to get elected, gave the entire South control over to the Democratic Party that pushed these black codes. So now they have absolutely no power in the South whatsoever. They have no representative in the Senate, no representative in the House of Representatives. It's just the left side and the right side wing of the same damn racist bird.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? The same bird of prey that is feeding off of the flesh of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans.
Damn.
You understand? Keep reading.
Con, sir. Oh, hold on. Okay. The black codes were enforced by all white police and state militia forces, often made up of Confederate veterans of the Civil War across the South.
Now, do you understand why we still getting killed by cops? You understand? Like the white bed sheets of the Ku Klux Klan ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? They went from overseer to officer.
Damn.
You understand? It went from head chief of the Ku Klux Klan to judges. You understand? To constables, to mayors. You understand? The sheets just changed it. The sheets have changed the uniforms. You understand?
Come, sir.
Is that the
Well,
end of
everybody say this is the next slide,
slide?
sir.
You gonna learn something today. All right, go ahead.
Come, sir. This is the impact of the black codes. The restrictive nature of the codes and widespread black resistance to their enforcement enraged many in the North.
Did what?
Enraged many in the North.
See, because they was out of sight, out of mind. Right? It was okay. We didn't abolish slavery. We didn't level the playing field. We didn't gave them the right to vote. We didn't. If they're resident of the United States, we made them equal citizens and equal to the same rights that we have. You understand? But because they was afraid of the South rising up again in the form of the Democratic Party, which is getting a lot of steam because it still had the same economic base as of the South. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Which was cotton. Cotton still ain't went nowhere. You understand? They just got sharecroppers working it, which is another form of slavery, which we gonna get to. You understand? So it ain't gone nowhere. So in order to make the Democratic Party an ally with the Republican Party, they gave them control of the whole South. So they made all these laws so black people couldn't vote. You know what I'm saying? You had to have a job to vote. You know what I'm saying? They made you do vision tests to see if you could read the vote. Reading tests. You understand? So it wasn't that you couldn't vote, you just had to pass the test, and the person who was giving you the test eyes in their opinion in order for you to vote. You understand? If you was caught trying to vote, Ku Klux Klan to show up to your house the night before, you understand, to burn a cross. To make sure you know that you in your place and you're gonna get hung or lynched. You understand? Keep reading.
Come, sir. Argued that the codes violated the fundamental principles of free labor ideology.
Keep reading.
After passing the Civil Rights Act over Johnson's veto, Republicans in Congress effectively took control of Reconstruction. The Reconstruction Act of 1867 required Southern states to ratify the 14th Amendment, which granted equal protection of the Constitution to former slaves.
Alright, so when they ratified it, right? So they made it seem like that the protection under the government, because when the Constitution was written, you understand, when it said all men were created equal, you understand, under God, we're talking about white men who were slaves then. So they relegated and amended it, you understand, to include the 13th Amendment and those that were abolished and that were free man or freedmen, you know what I'm saying, during slavery. You understand? To try and force their hand to give them equal rights and equal social economic wages and opportunities. You understand? Keep reading.
Come, sir. The Reconstruction Act. Oh wait, Salakia.
You saw that equal protection.
Right, which granted equal protection of the Constitution to former slaves, and enact universal male suffrage before they could rejoin the Union.
You know what I'm saying? So let me go to the next one. Yep, that is correct. From Encyclopedia Britannica. You are absolutely correct. So now we're gonna get into what I was, I almost jumped the gun a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Alright, so this comes from this is in the Encyclopedia Britannica. You know what I'm saying? This is from the Encyclopedia Britannica website. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Start at section 2, right?
Yes, sir.
Section 2. Be it further enacted that all freedmen, free Negroes, and mulattoes in this state over the age of 18 years.
Now let me tell you something. All right, so 1850, which was the first census where they wrote down race. Okay, and they because so if you were Native American, right, you were either put down as an I for Indian, B for black, or M for mulatto. It was up to the discretion of the person that was a census taker to mark you down in the house. So a lot of Native Americans were marked down as mulatto or black. You understand? So, and this lets you know that it's including all niggas, all blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. That's why it says freedmen. You know what I'm saying? If you was a part of the Freedmen's Bureau, which we're gonna get into that. You understand? Freedmen's Bureau were Native American. You know what I'm saying? But they would have you believe that it's Negro. You understand? Free people of color was a Native American. They would have you believe that those are Negroes. You know what I'm saying? Then it says free Negroes and mulatto. Mulattoes were also another classification for Native Americans. A person that was put as mulatto, you were either your father was black and your mother was Native American, you understand, or your mother was your father was Native American and your mother was black, or your father was Native American, your mother was white, or your father was white and your mother was Native American. All right, so you have to pay very close attention to these terms, right? And do research on the terms that they use. All right, keep reading.
Colonel McCon, sir. In the state over the age of 18 years, found on the second Monday in January 1866 or thereafter, with no lawful employment or business, or found unlawfully assembling themselves together either in the day or night time, and all white persons so assembling with freedmen.
So if you was caught without a job, you understand, or an unlawful assembly, right? So you couldn't be posted up on the street corners, right? Because they would think that black people were congregating trying to hatch a plan, which is why it was such a big immersement of black churches, because that was the only place where black people could go to congregate, strategize, and plan that the white man wouldn't trip. At this point, they're free. So the white man ain't in the congregation no more. You understand? So Native Americans, you know what I'm saying, you went from having chiefs to pastors and the elders of the tribes to deacons. You understand? That's why the church is set up the way it's set up. You understand? Because that was the only place where we were allowed as a lawful assembly under the guise of Christianity. You understand? Keep reading.
Con, or usually associating with freedmen, free Negroes, or mulattoes on terms of equality, or living in adultery or fornication with a freed woman, free Negro.
So if you was a freedman, a free Negro, or a mulatto, you didn't have a job, you was kind of congregating, or you were caught in fornication, or having sex with a white man or a white woman, you understand? Or if you was caught in an unlawful congregation, read.
Shall be deemed vagrants, and on conviction thereof shall be fined in the sum of not exceeding, in the case of a freedman, free Negro, or mulatto, $150.
All right, hold on. So let's look this up. $200. 18. Let's see. So, all right. So let me read this to you. All right? $100 in 1858 is equivalent in purchasing power of about $3,173.52 today. You understand? So if you was caught sleeping with a white man, if you was caught sleeping with a white woman, if you was caught in an unlawful assembly, if you didn't have a job, you would have to pay a fine of $3,173.52 today minimum. That's equivalent to $100 back then, but it said 150, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you paying close to $4,000 today if you caught doing any of this. Put that in perspective. You understand? You didn't have that money back then. Keep reading.
Con or one con. And a white man, $200.
And if you was a white man, you'd have to pay $200. So you was paying $6,300 if you was caught hanging out with blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. If you was sleeping with a black woman, Lord forbid you was a homosexual, you was sleeping with a black man. You know what I'm saying? They probably charge you and then kill you. You know what I'm saying? You and him. You feel me? They want to kill him anyway. You understand? Keep reading.
Another one con. And imprisoned at the discretion of the court, the free Negro not exceeding 10 days, and the white man not exceeding 6 months.
You understand? So if you was white and you was caught hanging out with black people, sleeping with black people, Hispanic people, Native American people, they can hold you in prison for up to 6 months. You know what I'm saying? They would let the Negro back out in 10 days. Go ahead, sis.
I don't. I think people might misconstrue this to think that they held white people to a higher standard. I don't think. I doubt that was the case. I just think they just like dreaded the fact that white people would even be hanging around or be procreating with.
So you have to understand, right? So just like during the time of slavery, you had some whites that didn't agree with the status quo, right? So i.e. the Underground Railroad. Okay, so I mean, even during slavery, you had white women that like to sneak into the slave quarters and get their back bust. You know what I'm saying? Just like master like to sneak into the slave, they called it jungle fever. You know what I'm saying? Or a case of nigga love. That's what they called it. You can look it up. These are terms that you can look up. You understand? All right. So they made it to where there was a line, and if you cross the line on any side, you was gonna be put in your place. You know what I'm saying? So they put more fear. It was fear, but it was more of how can make sure that your allegiance was to your race on the white side, right? Because white people, they could afford to pay the fines, right? But they'll still put you in jail, right? So if you was a wealthy person, you just want to keep having sex with black women, or if you want to keep sleeping with black men, no sweat, we're gonna throw you in jail. I.e., the situation when Malcolm X went to jail. You know what I'm saying? The white woman that he was with, they was charged up or whatever, but she was released in 6 months. I forgot how long he was in jail. He was in jail for like 5 years. I forgot. You know what I'm saying? So these are the laws that were enacted back then. Puts a lot of things in perspective. You know what I'm saying? Keep reading.
Section 5. Be it further enacted that all fines and forfeitures collected under the provisions of this act shall be paid into the county treasury for general county purposes, and in case any freed man, free Negro, or mulatto shall fail for 5 days after the imposition of any fine or forfeiture upon him or her for violation of any of the provisions of this act to pay the same, that it shall be and is hereby made the duty of the sheriff of the proper county to hire out said freedman, free Negro, or mulatto to any person who will, for the shortest period of service.
So what does that sound like? If you can't pay the fine, right? So if you can't afford to pay $3,100, you understand? The sheriff would find anybody that needed work, and you'd have to work off the debt. What does that sound like? Huh?
Oh, well.
Go ahead.
It sounded like two things, so I was going to say the auction block, but also.
That's one. What's the other one?
I heard the sister say.
I mean, community service is slavery. You understand? You out there picking up trash, you know what I'm saying, on the highway, that's slavery. You understand? From sun up to sundown. Breaking big rocks into little rocks. That's slavery. That's back-breaking work. You understand? Like, and then on top of that, now watch this, right? What this also sounds like today is a surcharge, right? So you get the fine, right? You can't pay the fine. There's a warrant put out for your arrest. Sheriff come looking for you, right? You go to jail, right? Okay. So surcharges, you get surcharges for lack of paying if you get a ticket for no insurance, or if you go to jail, right? And you get a surcharge for 3 years, right? And if you're unable to pay any of these surcharges, the cycle starts right back over. You understand? Free labor, free money for the government or for white society to eat off of you forever. It's not designed for you to get out of the cycle of slavery. You understand? The whole job is to get you in the system so you can be a slave forever, for the rest of your natural born life. That's why we got so many brothers and sisters that's in and out of the system, because it's designed for you to be a slave forever. Keep reading. All right, no sweat. Let me go pull up the next slide.
The next one, I don't know if you want the code, the laws.
Yep. Yep. That's exactly what I want, brother. They in order. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Common sir. Black codes and pig laws.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately after the Civil War ended, Southern states enacted black codes that allowed African Americans certain rights, such as legalized marriage, ownership of property, and limited access to the courts.
You understand? So it limited who you could marry. It limited what property that you can buy on what side of town, the type of house that you can buy. You understand? So, and then it limited access to the court. So you weren't granted access to a trial by your peers. Your juries would be all white juries, which they would call a hung jury. You know what I'm saying? I.e. a hung jury to get you lynched and hanged. You understand? Keep reading.
Common sir. And limited access to the courts, but denied them rights to testify against whites.
You understand? So if a white man wrongly killed a black man, Hispanic man, a Native American, and there were witnesses, you couldn't testify to get justice for your brother, justice for your sister, justice for your son, justice for your daughter, justice for your mother, justice for your father. You understand? If it ain't white, it ain't right. You understand? Keep reading.
Another one, sir. Or, to serve on juries or in state militias, vote, or start a job without the approval of the previous employer.
You understand? So You couldn't get a better job without your previous employer approving for you to get another job. What does that sound like?
Right.
Slavery. Go ahead.
Like, sir, if I may, that's still on the applications today. They want to know who you worked for last time.
Right.
They want to call them and check and see how you were.
Right. You know what I'm saying? How was you on this plantation? You know what I'm saying? Let me call over there on the Clampett plantation and see how you was over there. You understand? Let me call Steven. You know what I'm saying? But you couldn't get another job unless your previous employer said you can get another job, i.e. the resume. You understand? This is the whole purpose of a resume. You understand? We want to see who you worked for before. You understand? And see if it, because it's all designed to keep you down. They're gonna find out how much they paid you to make sure that they're not paying you more than what they paid you before, so that you can't relegate and get out of the class that you're in. You understand? They want to make sure, even though you may be able to be management, but you was a servant, that you stay a servant and that you don't get into management. You keep doing the same job that you've been doing. You know what I'm saying? If you was a cashier there, you're gonna be a cashier here. If you was a bus boy there, you're gonna be a bus boy here. If you was a bellhop there, you're gonna be a bellhop here. And that's such a racist term, bellhop.
Right.
When you hear the bell, you better hop to it, boy. Like, these terms are racist as hell. You know what I'm saying? Because they were relegated to the service class, which were blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans.
Right.
You understand? Keep reading.
God won't come, sir. But after the failure of Reconstruction in 1877 and the removal of black men from political offices.
So, like I told y'all, they got black people out of the Republican Party because they didn't want you to ascertain any political power in the South, where we mainly were. You understand? And when they got you out of there, it was a whites-only boys club for them to do as they will to relegate you back to the same place you were, which is where you've been since then, slavery. We are in hell. You are not free. You know what I'm saying? The chain's just not on you. You understand? Like, our people are relegated to a certain class. It don't matter if you in corporate America. If you look at the wages of white men compared to black men, it's completely different. It's a profit margin. You know what I'm saying? If you look at the wages of white women to black women, it's a difference. It's a different profit margin. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's completely different. Nothing has changed. These same black codes that was set in place then are in place now. You understand? A white man that comes in as a design draftsman at an architecture firm will get paid $5,000 to $10,000 more a year. You understand? Than a black man that comes in at the same position. Same thing at an engineering firm. You can do the research. You understand? These things are because of the black codes that were established when the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment was enacted. You understand? Nothing has changed. Keep reading.
Southern states again enacted a series of laws intended to circumscribe the lives of African Americans. Harsh contract laws penalized anyone attempting to leave a job before an advance had been worked off.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's consignment. That's where the term consignment comes from, right? So when you was a sharecropper, you know what I'm saying? Like, the whole purpose for you to be a sharecropper was for you to work the land that you would eventually own, right? But you didn't have no money, right? So the white man will front you the seeds for the crop, will front you the tools, will front you the mule, you understand? And whatever else you needed to work the land. but they would make sure that the interest rate and the amount that was loaned to you plus interest, you could never work that off in an annual year. So you would constantly be in the red. So they would own the land when you died, you understand? Or you couldn't keep up with the payments, they'll take the land from you, you understand? And then you would still have to work the land to pay off the debt, or you go to jail. You couldn't move, right? If you wanted to move to a different city, I tell you a story, right? So, my great grandfather, his son, two of his sons, they stole a tractor from the landowner they was working. They rode the tractor from Alabama all the way to Wisconsin. You understand? To get away. You understand? If they would have been caught, they would have been brought back to the county. They would have been sent to jail. After they would have got out of jail, they still would have had to work the land. You know what I'm saying? Because if your daddy died and the debt wasn't paid, guess who got to pay the debt? The children, the wife, and the children. That debt don't go nowhere. So your family would be in slavery until that debt and that interest is paid off, and you would never be able to pay it off. You understand? That's why slavery actually existed all the way up until 1960. There were people that were still slaves in the South in the 1960s. Look it up if you think I'm lying. They got a whole documentary on YouTube about it. In Mississippi, people were still slaves. They didn't know nothing about black people being free until they saw Martin Luther King saying he had a dream speech on television. You understand what I'm saying? It's how evil the white man is. They families were slaves because they could not work off the debt, or they didn't even tell you that you was free because you lived in some backwater town where they didn't have radios and TVs. And word didn't get to you because you couldn't read the newspaper because they didn't allow you to read. Keep reading.
Come, sir. Pig laws unfairly penalize poor African Americans for crimes such as stealing a farm animal, and vagrancy statutes made it a crime to be unemployed.
So do you know why black people were stealing farm animals? Or they pig laws? Go ahead. What do you mean by make their own stuff?
Like start their own farm or something?
No. There you go. You know what I'm saying? They would go on white people's farms and they would steal their pigs. You know what I'm saying? Because they worked so much and they were in the red so much that they didn't even have money to eat. So they'd go steal a pig. You know what I'm saying? They go steal a cow. You know what I'm saying? So their family could eat and not die. Not thrive, eat and not die. That sounds like that story of the lady that only had a little bit of flour and some oil. You know what I'm saying? And had enough to make one cake so that they can eat it and die. You know what I'm saying? It's in the Bible. And there's nothing new under the sun. Keep reading.
Come, sir. And vagrancy statutes made it a crime to be unemployed. Many misdemeanors or trivial offenses were treated as felonies with harsh sentences and fines.
You know what I'm saying? Just like, no difference from the punishment for crack cocaine is more harsher than the punishment for cocaine.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like the punishment for weed is higher than for methamphetamines. You know what I'm saying? Keep reading.
Come. The pig laws stayed on the books for decades.
For how long?
decades
Mm-hmm.
and were expanded with even more discriminatory laws once the Jim Crow era began.
You understand? All of these laws were enacted by the Democratic Party. You understand? This 3-strike rule came from the Democratic Party. You understand? Because the Democratic Party is the Ku Klux Klan.
Right.
It was started by the Ku Klux Klan. You know what I'm saying? It was given relegation of ownership to the South to railroad blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to keep them servile under the foot of slavery. Nothing has changed. You understand? Let's see. Is that the end of that one? Yeah. Let's see what slide number is that. 46. Oh yeah. Hold on. Salaki, my bad. Yeah, here we go. All right. So now, all right. So the class is oppression makes a wise man mad, and the gift destroys a heart. Right. So the abolishment of slavery was a gift. Right. It made you forget about what the white man did to you in slavery, how he slaved you out. Right. But it destroyed your heart because you didn't have the zeal that your ancestors had. Right? So then they created vagrancy laws and black codes. Right? So once they did that, they gave you another gift, the 14th and 15th Amendment. So you can be treated as an equal citizen, made sure that you had the right to vote. Once you did that, they formed the Ku Klux Klan. Gift destroys the heart. You understand? But if you as a wise man understand the times and stop trying to align yourself with your enemy, like you can't make a treaty with him. You understand? You can't make like this. The Bible says for you to not make any allegiances or pledges or treaties with the heathen when the Lord brings you into your own land. So why do you think when you in their land that their treaties are going to be for you? It's not going to work. Every treaty they made with the Native Americans, they broke. We went over 10 of them last class. You understand? One of them is a famous one. You know what I'm saying? The treaty for Seneca Village. You know what I'm saying? Which is now, like, it was supposed to be sovereign land. It's still sovereign land. You want to know what it is now? It's Central Park. No one can be there. You understand? So everything that they give you is to destroy you. Because you think, okay, we made a partnership so we can be at peace. And when you got peace in your heart, it's been war in his the entire time. As soon as you put your guards down, he's going to kill you. He's going to destroy you. His only job is to kill you. He is a cunning hunter from the beginning. You understand? Go ahead. So this next gift we're gonna talk about is Section 8 housing. Keep reading.
Come on, sir. This is from Section8Facts.com.
Mm-hmm.
How long can a visitor legally stay in my home? According to Section 8 rules, a visitor cannot stay in your house for more than 14 consecutive nights without approval.
You understand? So what's considered a visitor, right? A visitor is a family member, right?
Right.
Or Salaki, a visitor is anyone that is not on the list of documented people that have been approved to live in this Section 8 home.
Right.
That could be a family member, right? That could be a friend, or better yet, a man, a spouse. So if you didn't have a man getting in here, you can't have a man when you're in here.
Right.
And 9 times out of 10, if you have a man, you're not going to get approved for Section 8 housing. Because you want to know what happens? You have babies. That's more people that's originally on the contract when you sign for Section 8 housing. And you have to reapply for a new contract. That means the old contract is void. You can't get pregnant when you're on Section 8. If you do, you have to file for a new contract.
Damn.
Oh, we about to read it. Read.
Thinking, great. I'll just have him or her stay out of my place once every 2 weeks and it'll be all good.
You understand? So they thought, okay, I can have me a man, right? He'll just stay for 21 days, leave for about 2 weeks, and then he can stay for another 21 days. Oh, no. Keep reading.
Con out of one con, sir. Wrong.
What did he say?
Wrong.
Guess again. Read.
The second part of the rule states that a person cannot stay with you more than 21 nights total in any 1 year, 12-month period, not calendar year.
You understand? So a man can only stay with you for 21 days out of an entire calendar year. So let's divide that by 12.
Ooh-wee.
Let's divide that by 12. You know what I'm saying? Barely. You know what I'm saying? That's 1.75 days a month. You feel me? A man can only stay with you for 1.75 days a month. You know what I'm saying? So he can only stay with you for a day and 10 hours. You know what I'm saying? You can't have so the gift is because you're such impoverished and you're on the border of vagrancy to go to jail and CPS, Child Protective Services, to have your kids taken from you. You know what? We feel sorry for you. We're going to give you Section 8 housing. You understand? But the gift is, the gift that destroys your heart is, we're going to give you this, but you can't have a man live with you. If you do have a man live with you, Lord be with you. Y'all can figure it out there on your own. But if you leave your man, I can take care of you and your children. And he can come visit you 2 days a month. How can you raise a family like that? You can't. You know what I'm saying? Section 8 housing is supposed to be reduced housing to help you get back on your feet, to help your family get back to where it is. But you lose the head of your family, right? And they make these stipulations to where, I'm giving it away. Keep reading, man. I'm giving it away.
Not one con, sir. Also, keep in mind that the burden of proof is on you, the voucher holder, not the other way around. So if you are reported by your landlord, friend, etc., or are accused by your PHA of having an unauthorized individual living with you, it is your responsibility to prove otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
You should know that it is possible to formally petition your HA and your landlord to extend the 14-night visitation period. You must have a strong reason for this request and explain it clearly in your letter.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it is best to submit this letter as soon as possible. Don't wait for the 14-night period to pass. If HA approves your request, be sure to keep their letter for your records.
Mm-hmm. Keep reading.
It's the next slide, sir.
Oh, no sweat.
Damn.
See, that's 48. Let's go to 49. All right, go ahead.
It says, what happens if it is discovered that an unauthorized individual has been living with you? Depending on state and federal laws in your location, a few things may happen. Number one, the housing authority will take away your Section 8 voucher for good.
They would do what?
The housing authority will take away your Section 8 voucher for good.
So you and your family, you're homeless. You know what I'm saying? You won't be able to get reduced housing again. You understand? Ever. If you got a man and you found having a man in your house and he done been there more than 21 days, you and your family and your new man is out. Y'all figure it out. Because y'all going to be without forever from the government. You understand? Keep reading.
Come. This means that you will not be able to reapply for Section 8 for a set period of time or ever in this state. Number two.
You got to move to a whole other state to get Section 8. Read.
Come. Number two. If housing authority discovers that the person living with you has income, they will request documentation and raise your rent accordingly.
So you can't even get ahead. So if when you got Section 8, if you was making, let's just say $10 an hour, and you got to raise at your job to $15 an hour, and they find out, not only they gonna raise your rent, but they won't back pay for all the cheap rent that you've been getting since you've been making $15 an hour. You understand? You can't get out of it. That's why I saw an interview. It was so heartbreaking. You understand? It was a sister. She had 3 kids and no job. She said she's better off having 3 kids and no job on Section 8 than to have a job and to have a man. Because the government takes care of her and her babies. Uncle Sam is her daddy, her big daddy, her sugar daddy. Because he give her a place to stay, you know what I'm saying? Give her WIC and food stamps for her baby, you understand? And she got a cheap house. She got a house for a cheap amount. Lights included. What she need a man for? What she need to work for? Because if she work, they gonna take it all away from her anyway. Keep reading.
Another one, sir. To capture the subsidy they have overpaid.
I just said that. Keep reading.
Number 3. If you request to include this person in your household and they are approved, your rent will also go up if they have official income.
You understand? So if they have if you don't have a job, you good. But if you got somebody living with you, a man, and y'all applied, and keyword that says if it's approved, and it's found out that he got income, they gonna raise it up exponentially based off of that one person's income. You understand? So on Section 8, you better off not having a job and not having a man in the house. And the government, Uncle Sam, will take care of you. And there are black women that survive on this. Go out and get more babies and keep their children away from their fathers. You understand? And the system railroads it. It's a racket. So those kids will grow up and be good, strong slaves for whatever state penal system that they live in. School to prison pipeline. Oh, it's very real. You know what I'm saying? So it's 750. Let's see. What else we got on here?
The Freedman's Bureau.
Yeah, all right. So we're going to do the Freedman's Bureau, and then we're going to stop there. We're going to have to breeze through because it's 750. Let's see. That slide.
You gonna put the picture?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You got to do that, brother. You know what I'm saying? Gots to do that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all can read the caption on the picture. Let me bring it down, son. I'm gonna bring it up on my phone so I can read it to y'all if y'all can't really see it. So the picture says the Freedmen's Bureau, an agency to keep the Negro in idleness at the expense of the white man, twice vetoed by the president and made a law by Congress, supported by Congress, and you support the Negro, sustain the president, you protect the white man. Damn. You understand? That's what that picture says. All right, so let's go ahead and start reading under the picture where it says the Freedmen's Bureau.
Come, sir.
Let's go.
The Freedmen's Bureau was intended to act as a primitive welfare agency.
A primitive what?
Welfare agency.
This is where welfare comes from. Oh yeah, these are all black codes.
Right.
These are meant and relegated to keep you down in servile, in idleness and laziness.
Damn.
Sorry to tell you. Keep reading.
Another one. Aiming to ease the transition from slavery to freedom.
Mm-hmm.
While some bureau agents were corrupt or incompetent, others worked hard to secure significant freedoms for blacks. Under control of Union War hero Oliver O. Howard, the Bureau delivered food to freedmen and poor whites in the South.
Oh, pay attention to that name, Oliver O. Howard. You're going to find out who he is. Let me pull up the next slide. You're going to find out what the Freedmen Bureau consisted of. Go ahead.
Con. And it helped freed people gain labor contracts.
Mm-hmm.
The Bureau also took up the fight for African American education, establishing scores of public schools where freed people and poor whites could receive both elementary and higher education. Respected institutions such as Fisk University, Hampton University, and Dillard University are part of the legacy of the Freedmen's Bureau.
You know what I'm saying? Fisk, Hampton, and Dillard are considered as private or posh black institutions as far as the HBCUs. You know what I'm saying? Fisk and Brown, and this next one they about to name. Keep reading.
Come on. General Howard later opened and became president of the historically black college, Howard University.
You understand? Howard University was founded by a white man.
Damn.
You understand? These are like our Ivy League schools. You know what I'm saying? They're right below PWIs, private white institutions. You know what I'm saying? They PBIs, private black institutions. You know what I'm saying? Like Fisk, Dillard, Howard, Brown are considered blacks' Ivy League schools, and these were all established by white men. You know what I'm saying? Because these General Howard wanted a place for his bastard children to go and to get educated and to get decent jobs.
Damn.
You understand? Keep reading.
Sir. In this endeavor, the Freedmen's Bureau received support from Christian organizations that had long advocated for abolition, such as the American Missionary Association.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they was definitely missionary, all right.
Right.
Messing over black people. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Is that it?
This next thing is prolonging.
Yeah, go ahead. We're gonna read that and we're gonna be done.
This is from khanacademy.org. Prolonging racial tensions post-Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
The schools that the Freedmen's Bureau and the AMA established inspired resentment among the white population in the South. Indeed, the Freedmen's Bureau's programs and its very existence were sources of controversy. Those who resisted this type of federal government activism denounced it as a foolish effort and a waste of federal money. Congress renewed the Bureau's charter in 1866.
They did what?
Congress renewed the Bureau's charter in 1866.
Man, I don't got no time to go into it. Keep reading.
But President Johnson, who steadfastly believed that the work of restoring the Union had been completed, vetoed the rechartering on the grounds that it interfered with states' rights. Congress.
So Johnson wanted to stop the Freedmen's Bureau because it stopped the progress of white supremacy on a local level.
Right.
But he got outvoted by Congress, which enacted the 14th and 15th Amendment. Keep reading.
Congress, in turn, overrode the president's veto.
Just said it.
Johnson pardoned many former Confederates and restored their land, as well as removed Bureau employees he thought were too sympathetic to African Americans.
So every Confederate war hero, you understand, that fought against America and lost, and by right, because they were traitors to the Union, they forfeited their land and their wealth. Johnson gave it all back to them. You know what I'm saying? So, with that, the white man is the devil the Bible speaks of. You understand? Everything that you think is for black people, food stamps, welfare, Section 8, WIC, free being slaves, the right to vote, all of that was to destroy you. Shalom. And with that, Amagium, which means to stand. Sar, turn and face the east. We're going to say the Lord's Prayer first in Hebrew, then in English. Repeat after me. Hold on 1 second. Shalakia. All right. Abanawa. Shabbat Shemayim. Kodash. Hayah. Shemka. Yahweh. Malak with Ka. Taba'ah. Ratazayaka. Hayah. Aisha. Ba'aratazah. Kawa. Hayah. Bashamayim. Natalanawa. Lakham. Ka. Yawam. Wasalaknawa. Kabawaknawa. Kasalaknawa. Kabawatinawa. Wala'ah. Tabi'ainawa. Banasaya 1. Abal. Hawashaynawa. Mayan. Rai. Kaya. Laka. Hamalakwa. Wahala. Wahatapara. La'awalamium. Aman. In the English, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come. Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Sar, turn and face the front. Courtesy salute to the brothers. Men of Israel. Mighty Shabbat. Baji. Rock. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah Barakatah. Yazamatah. Sar, turn and face the sisters. Men of Israel. Mighty Shabbat. Baji. Barak. Yahweh Shabbat Hashem Yahweh Shah. Yazamatah. Dismissed.